What's more likely? Ravens at Chargers on Monday Night Football. See, this balances out Steelers-Browns on Thursday night because this is going to be awesome. Yeah. Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. And you've got a team that scores a lot of points. You've got a team that doesn't give up many points. Baltimore, 30.4 per game, second in the league. Chargers, an NFL low, 14.5. The over-under is nevertheless 51 for this. So what's more likely? They combine for over 55 or they combine for under 45? Pete sets these things up. So we want to go in the middle, but we got to go one or the other. Over 55, under 45. What's your pick?
Yeah. I'm going to go over 55. You know, the Ravens still are 32nd pass defense, and an NFL team has never won the Super Bowl 32nd pass defense. I think the Chargers are obviously going to take advantage of that. They're going to throw for a lot of yards. They're going to score a lot of points. And I think the Ravens are going to have to match that, and they certainly can match that with Superman, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry doing what they do. So I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I think it's going to be the game of the week.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I already have my picks for the Picks podcast later. And without disclosing the team that I believe will win, the total points I have are 61. So I'll say over the 55. I think it will be an exciting, high-scoring game. And by the way, this is a strange coincidence. The game is happening. It's the first time John and Jim Harbaugh will be facing each other on a football field since Super Bowl 47, 12 years ago. The game is happening on their parents' wedding anniversary. So that's a neat little twist, and it works out perfectly. It's the start of Thanksgiving
and they're not
week.
Going to be there.
Oh, wow.
They're going to be in Florida. Florida watching at the sister's house.
Wow. Oh, it's just got to be. Now, it's not like the two kids are out there playing against each other and potentially injuring each other, but still, Can you imagine the tension between the brothers? And I'm a little surprised Jim took an AFC job just because of that. Hey, remember, there was a time about 10 years ago where the 49ers were going to send Jim Harbaugh to the Browns. And all Jim Harbaugh had to say was yes, and it was happening. We'd have had Harbaugh versus Harbaugh twice a year. The old Browns versus the new Browns twice a year, Harbaugh. That would have been great if it happened, but it didn't. All right, here's another one that's happening. Rematch of a playoff game last year. Divisional round when the 49ers knocked out the Packers in Green Bay. 5-5 49ers, 7-3 Packers. The 49ers have blown 3 leads in the final 2 minutes of games. The Packers have won 3 games on the final play, including Sunday with a blocked field goal. What's more likely, no lead change in the final 2 minutes of the game, or the game is won on the final play?
Well, I think odds are best that there's no lead change in the final 2 minutes, so I will go with that one. And I'll say this, Mike, this is a must-win for the 49ers. If they're going to stay in this thing and contend, they've got to win this game. Their backs are to the wall. They have not played well this season. They're starting to get a little healthier as we go along. So they've got to win this game. But I'll say no lead change in the final 2 minutes just because the odds seem better for that.
You know, as you were saying that, I thought of my take last week on the Bengals. They've got to win this game against the Chargers, and it's one of the reasons I foolishly had faith in the Bengals. The difference is the Chargers are better than the Packers, and the 49ers are better than the Bengals. Had to get my team straight there for a second. So I think that desperation may make a difference this time around because the 49ers really, really need this one because in their division, they're all bunched together at 5-5 with the exception of the 6-4 Cardinals. That's the next one here. The Cardinals coming off of their bye are at Seattle. The Cardinals have scored 28 or more points in 3 straight games. They've allowed fewer than 16 in 3 of the last 4 games. So what's more likely? Arizona goes 28 or more, or the Seahawks go 16 or under?
I'm going to go they score over 28 points. I think they'll hit that number. We're sleeping, or I am anyway, sleeping on the Cardinals. Like, I haven't seen very many of their games, and it didn't expect them to be real good. They're sitting here at 6-4, and I'm like, maybe I should watch the Cardinals. Maybe I should watch Kyler play. They're playing really well right now. They're on both sides of the ball, and kudos to Jonathan Gannon and this team for what they're doing. I'm not talking about him for Coach of the Year. And they've done a great job. So I'm going to go with that offense. I'm going to go with the offense to 28 or more against the Seahawks.
I do a weekly radio thing with KJR in Seattle, and this came up last night, the Cardinals. How good are the Cardinals? And I think what happens is enough stink gets attached to a team that people don't take them seriously, even as they are winning and winning and winning. And it just takes our brains a while to rewire where we see the uniform and we think this team is good. We went through it 3 years ago with a team that one of us said, as part of a PFT live draft, they have no chance to make the playoffs.
Hadn't forgotten that.
I won't say which one it was because it was me. And as the Bengals got better and better, you have to kind of reconfigure how you view when you see that helmet. How do you view the Cardinals? You need to view them as a legitimate contender despite all the dysfunction in the organization, the Terry McDonough stuff, the tampering with Jonathan Gannon. I remember when Gannon got hired, there were some comments he made. It just seemed kind of goofy. It's like, does this guy really get it? Is this going to work? Oh, wait, it's working. And Kyler Murray, comeback player of the year, eligible under the revised standards, which really haven't revised anything if you want to get technical. But Kyler Murray, I think, is on track for potential comeback player of the year. And if they keep stacking wins, now they got to catch the Lions. But Kyler Murray possibly getting a spot on the 5-deep MVP ballot for some of the voters.
Yeah, I think so, Mike. All those things. And he's played really well. And he's come back from that knee injury that, he had half a season last year to kind of get going. And always that second season, the knee is better. We see it, especially with quarterbacks. The knee just gets better and better that second year. And you're not thinking about it and all those things. And you've taken hits on it. So they're playing really well right now, Mike, and kudos to Gannon and Murray and that entire team. And by the way, they get Darius Robinson back perhaps this week. We haven't seen him yet this year.
Sunday Night Football. The Eagles at the Rams. They're commemorating, by the way, the 25th anniversary of the Rams Super Bowl championship that happened for the St. Louis Rams. I just didn't think they were going to even acknowledge it because, the latest ring, when they won their Super Bowl 56, actually, the logo on the thing closest and the cleanest is what I found this morning. It only has one Super Bowl trophy on the ring. They ignored the trophy that was won in St. Louis. They're commemorating that this weekend. Not that the Eagles have any connection to it, but it's Sunday Night Football, so what the heck. They've got a couple of touchdown machines on these two teams. Kyren Williams has 8 rushing touchdowns. Saquon Barkley has 8 rushing touchdowns. So, what's more likely? Very simple. Kyren Williams has a rushing touchdown or Saquon Barkley has a rushing touchdown.
Pete, you should have done more than one because I think they both have a rushing touchdown, but I'll go with Saquon Barkley because I think he's going to break something and have a long touchdown and perhaps have more than one touchdown in this game. But I think they both score, Mike.
See, Pete agreed with you. I heard him say, you're right, I should have done more than one. Now, if I had said that Pete should have done more than one, he would have fought me and argued with me until lunchtime that he's right and I'm wrong, because that's just how Pete and I get along or don't get along. I'll say Kyren Williams just because of this thing where they take away touchdowns from Saquon Barkley at the goal line because they do the quarterback sneak, the tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, it takes touchdowns away. And there was something this weekend I saw, and I don't know how much of it was just performative nonsense, but if they didn't do the quarterback sneak, Saquon Barkley would be the MVP. No. You can give him those extra touchdowns. He's still not going to overcome whoever the best quarterback is from the 1 seed of the AFC or the NFC. Yeah. He's not going to have a 2,000-yard rushing season. Just scoring a lot of touchdowns is not going to vault you to MVP. It was just all kind of stupid. So, yes, he's got fewer touchdowns than he would have. And I think the only bit of news out of that whole experience was that when it was time to negotiate his contract, his agents didn't want touchdown incentives because they know you're playing for the team. When you get down near the goal line, they're gonna trot out the patented play to score a touchdown with the quarterback. So I think because of that dynamic, Kyren Williams more likely between the two. Vikings at the Bears. Sam Darnold on the injury report this week with a foot limited in practice on Wednesday. The Bears, the offense looked better. They still didn't win, but the offense looked better. And they're embarking on a stretch that is not easy. Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Vikings, Lions. What's more likely? Sam Darnold throws an interception or Caleb Williams throws a touchdown pass? Last week, by the way, Darnold surprisingly had no interceptions, and Williams has had no touchdown passes in his last 4 games.
I really have a lot of faith in that Vikings defense. They're very good. And so I think there's a chance that Caleb Williams doesn't throw a touchdown pass. So I think it's more likely that Sam Darnold throws an interception because the Bears defense is pretty darn good. And they have a chance to do that. So I'll go with Sam Darnold throws an interception over Caleb Williams throws a touchdown.
I'll agree with you on that just because I've become very accustomed to, and this is the view we get when we watch a game on TV. You're not in the stadium, so you don't know who's open, who's not open. Even if you can process all of that at once, it's not easy to do. But we see the quarterback go back, and he sets up, and there's this confidence that comes over, and that you can see it in the entire motion. And the more confident he seems, the more time he has, the more likely he's throwing it to a guy on the other team. It's just the way it's played out this year. And I'm not going to tip my hand to Sasquatch, but this is a tough spot for the Vikings. They've looked sluggish against the Jaguars on the road, sluggish against the Titans on the road, sluggish against the Colts at home. They're walking into a spot where the Bears are desperate to get a win and end their 4-game losing streak. I don't think it's going to be a good day for the Minnesota Vikings. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. Charean, thank you. You know what? We're actually ahead by a couple minutes. So is there anything else? And this is one of those spots where if I'm on the other side, I'm thinking, really, I got to come up with something to say. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap the segment?
Let's talk for 1 second about the Bears' job, because I think it's going to be the best job available after this season. Mike, do you agree with that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want that job with the talent they have? If you like Caleb Williams and you think he's going to be a good quarterback.
That's the key. You have to like Caleb Williams. If you like Caleb Williams, it's the best job available. The question is, are you a coach that the team is interested in, and you say you like Caleb Williams, but you don't? Like what probably happened when Josh McDaniels took the Broncos job 15 years ago, and they had Jay Cutler. And the first order of business was, get rid of Jay Cutler. I doubt that in the interview process, Josh McDaniels laid out his plan for the Broncos as first order of business, let's get rid of our franchise quarterback. So you've got to want Caleb Williams. I'm glad I did that. Yeah. That was a great observation. And I think it will be a very coveted job if it becomes available. Let's not fire Matt Eberflus yet, but they got to win some football games or that's going to be what's happening. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.